Hello guys, my name is Tom Antos and today I went on a shopping spree. All these boxes that you see up here, they're actually different computer parts that I bought because I'm going to be building a new video editing machine for myself. So all these boxes you see up here are just the different computer components that are going to make up the actual computer. And the object or my goal of this little project that I'm doing was to try to build a video editing machine that can edit 4K video, maybe even 4K RAW. I'm gonna see once I've actually put it all together if it can handle that, but do it all within $2,000. Now all these parts I got on Amazon. I'm gonna provide all the links in the description of this video, or better yet, just go to my website tomantosfilms.com and I'm gonna provide all the information there. Also, extra little details about how you things to watch out for and stuff like that. But anyways, these are all the components, like I said, that will cost you around $2,000. Now I actually ended up spending a little bit over $2,000, and that's because some of the parts were not available at the moment that I wanted to buy them on Amazon. And because I needed to get this done in a relatively quick amount of time, I couldn't wait till they restocked on Amazon. So I ended up buying it on a few other websites which were a little bit more expensive. But you can definitely get all these parts that I'm going to show you guys, for $2,000. I'm going to provide all the links, like I said, on my website. But you just have to kind of still keep your eye out and see, because the prices, especially on Amazon, do fluctuate. So just wait and actually buy it, when it's the cheapest. Now if you're in a hurry like me, then you're going to have to pay a little bit extra. But like I said, within $2,000, you should be able to build this whole machine that I'm building. For me, it actually cost me $2,250 something. Now, another thing to watch out for is the operating system. Whether you want to use Windows 7 or 10, like I'll be using, that is going to cost you a little bit of extra money. Now, I already happen to have Windows from my previous machine that I built, so I'm just going to reinstall them, the same Windows onto this one. But if you guys want a fresh new copy of Windows 10, that's going to cost you another $100. So let me just kind of go through all the parts so you guys can see what actually makes up a computer these days. So first thing we have is the motherboard. It's the main thing that basically everything attaches to. And I went with the ASUS motherboard, which is the X99A USB 3.1. Then the next thing here is the graphics card, and this one's also from ASUS, and it's the GTX 1070 graphics card, Nvidia, which has 8 GB of GDDR5 memory. It's also G-Sync ready. It's compatible with PCI Express 3.0, and it's the Founders Edition. Next we have the cooling system, which is from Corsair, and this is the H11OI GTX, the Extreme Performance 280mm liquid CPU cooler. So cooling system is very important because it's gonna, like I said, they're gonna take away all of the heat that builds up within the CPU, and without a good cooling system, your CPU is just gonna overheat. It's gonna slow down basically the way the CPU actually works, and because of that, it's gonna slow down your whole machine. So you definitely want to have a good cooling system. And this is it's not the top of the line one, but it's pretty much it's up there. It's a liquid cooling system, so it should do a pretty good job. I also have two hard drives, which are solid state drives from SanDisk, and these are the SanDisk Ultra 2, which are up to 550 megabytes per second read and 500 megabytes per second write speeds. I also have memory here from Crucial, and this is a 32 gigabyte kit, which consists of 4 8 gigabyte memory bars. This is DDR4, 21300 speed. The reason why I end up getting 4 of 8 gigabyte bars to make up the 32 gigs of memory is because this motherboard only accepts up to 8 gigabyte basically bars. So that's the reason why I got it. Now you can go all the way up to 64 gigabytes on this motherboard. Now this is the most important thing. This is the CPU. I end up going with the Core i7 6800K LGA 2011 socket. I've used the Core i7s. Now this is the latest generation, but I've used the older versions of the processor on some of my other previous computers, as well as my laptops, and I've always trusted them because they're pretty good when it comes to rendering. They'll really speed up the whole workflow. Now to power this whole computer, you're gonna need a good power supply. So I end up going with the EVGA 1000 watt power supply. Now this is a little bit overkill, and you definitely don't have to go all the way, with a 1000 watts. If you want to save yourself some money, definitely, you can go to kind of power everything that I have up here. You can safely go with a 750 watt power supply. Now the reason why I end up going with a bigger, more powerful power supply is because I just want to be basically future ready. So in case I ever want to update and, for example, maybe get another graphics card and connect the two together to get extra, graphics performance, then I'm going to need more power basically for the whole machine. So this will kind of cover me for that. And finally, to kind of put all of this together, you need a case. Otherwise, your computer would just be sitting on a table. So I went with the Phantom 630, computer case. It's a pretty big box up here. There's only half of it. But yeah, it should be. I guess I've never actually used this case before, or even that company. But I'm kind of curious to see just how good and modular this case is going to be, and whether it's going to create any problems when I'm trying to squeeze in a lot of these parts, like for example the water-cooled CPU cooling system. I also end up getting a pack of hard drive cables so I can connect the hard drives to the motherboard. So anyways, now all that's left to do is to actually put all the different parts together. right, so I finished building my new computer. Kind of excited. It's actually a lot bigger than I expected it, just because the case is bigger. But it's actually, in a way, it's better. I mean, it's not good maybe for if I wanted to transport it somewhere, but then again, it's just going to be sitting in my office. And the more space you have, the better it is, because it kind of keeps the internal components a little bit cooler. You know, the airflow is basically less restricted. But anyway, so once you've connected everything, obviously like double or even triple check it. Make sure that you didn't miss some, for example, important wire, like let's say to the CPU, you know, cooling system, the fan or something, because then, you know, you turn it on and then would fry your CPU. So you got to be careful with all those things, double check everything. But I already did all that checking, and I think it should be ready. So now the moment of truth, just got to turn it on. So let me connect the power and the video cable to this. All right, I got the power on there and click the button. I got the monitor up here. You guys can't see it, but I can see it. So you should be able to see the BIOS start up. And if that works, then you can start loading in Windows. So good news, I can see all the fans moving and the GPU light and all the other like lights for the LEDs turning on, so that's good. But I don't see anything on the screen here. Seems like it's powered up. Alright, something doesn't work here. Gonna have to check that out. Oh, I'm getting some kind of a message here on the motherboard. It says there's like a little LED light. It says number 53 on here. So try to figure that out. See what's actually wrong with it. Alright, so after checking the manual for the motherboard and also checking the what do you call it, on the website with the manufacturer, and calling ASUS about this 53, the little warning message code that it displays on the motherboard. And that's, by the way, you know, most motherboards will have that. Most modern motherboards, they're gonna have a little, like a little LED display. So you basically will look it up and see whether it's flashing anything, or you know, if it's off, or if it just says 00 means everything's okay. But if there's something, like I said, on the motherboard flashing, that means that the motherboard is detecting some kind of a problem, and that's probably the reason why it doesn't want to start up. So here in the manual it says code 53, it's memory error, invalid memory type, or incompatible memory speed. Oh, that's not good news. But yeah, it looks like that's what it is. And the memory that I got for this is the right chipset. It's the right, it says it's the right speed and everything. So I guess it's just compatibility, because it's, like I said, they, you know, even here where they have a list of memories, it's, like I said, it's the same speed as like many of the ones that they recommend. Now, one thing I noticed though is that my memory is from Crucial, and they only have, for that speed, they only have 2 models of Crucial memory that's actually being supported. And so when I checked this, my memory is it's almost, when I look at the model name, it all looks the same, except one letter at the end is different. So that basically tells me that looks like I bought the wrong memory. So I'm gonna have to see if I can return it now. I don't know if I can. But one thing I will have to do is order new memory. So that's the reason why I want to kind of do this video, to show you guys, because you know, unless you're like somebody who regularly builds computers, you probably won't run into these kind of problems. But me, you know, I'm more concerned with actually editing videos. So the last time I've actually put together my own machine was it's gonna be like 4.5, 5 years ago. So it's been a while. Didn't have any good kind of problems back in, you know, when I did that last machine I was working on. But I remember I had one problem with one little thing that I forgot to connect, and that's the reason why it wasn't starting up. But Here, like I can say, I've checked all the wires, everything's okay, and I can see the motherboard start up and display that error. And I've tried taking out the memory, because sometimes it's, you know, if it shows you memory error, it could just simply be maybe the memory bar isn't properly inserted or things like that. But I've taken it out, put it back in, all that stuff. It just doesn't make a difference. So after also having contacted ASUS, they pretty much told me that my best bet is to get one of the memory, basically the memories that they have listed in the manual. So that kind of sucks. So that's the reason, like I said, I wanted to do this video, is so you guys can kind of see for yourself that sometimes something small like that, even though you get what's technically the right memory, you know, chipset and speed and all that stuff, it can still turn out that it doesn't work. So for now, my little computer building project is gonna have to be on hold. For you guys, it's gonna be quick, but I have to wait basically 2 days because tomorrow is Sunday and there's no delivery in my area tomorrow. So and I'm ordering all of this on Amazon. So I'm gonna order a new memory and hopefully we'll get it here on Monday. And then once I get it, then I'll come back to this and I'll hopefully have a working computer for you guys. But otherwise, yeah, like you can see, that's kind of how it looks. So anyway, stay tuned. See you guys in 2 days, or you know, in your case, see you in 5 seconds. So now the last step before you can actually, you know, install your applications and start editing on this new computer is to actually get Windows working on there. So this is the screen that you're going to be welcomed with when you start up for the first time and you don't have Windows. It's just a BIOS screen. And if you have this, that means you've hooked up everything correctly. It means the motherboard's working. You can see the CPU fan, basically operation. You can see all the things, and now we just need to install the actual Windows. So you know, you can buy Windows. You can buy it on Amazon. They'll send you a USB or a DVD drive. Or if you don't want to spend any money, you can actually install Windows for free in a totally legal way, which is something I didn't even know myself. Basically, you'll go to the official page where you download Windows, and they have the media creation tool. You download that tool, install it, and from there we'll ask you what version of Windows you want. So I would select the 64-bit version, and you can select the Home or Pro edition. And with that, you can create a bootable USB drive. Now you can create a DVD too, but since we don't have a DVD drive in this computer, you know, it's kind of pointless. But if you wanted to add a DVD drive, then you could use that too. But with a USB, it's easier. Just, you know, put the Windows on there, put the USB drive, and then as your computer starts up, when you see the ASUS motherboard logo, just press F8 on your keyboard. Then you can even press multiple times just to make sure. And then the boot options will basically pop up on the screen. So you select the USB drive where you have the Windows installation disk. From there, you'll see Windows actually installation start up. And then, you know, it's going to ask you for all the information. When you go to the screen where it asks you for the serial, just simply press, you know, skip, or, you know, just basically that you don't have the serial number. And it will install the full Windows install for you. Now, as far as I know, and maybe if you guys, you know more, you can correct me and leave it in the comments section below. But as far as I know and have seen, there's absolutely no difference with the activated and non-activated version of Windows. I've been using actually on another computer the non-activated version of Windows 10 for a few months actually. I think it's going to be maybe 3 months. And literally the only difference I've seen is that every so on you'll get a message popped up, or on the bottom of the screen will say that this version of Windows is not activated. But as far as functionality goes, there's no difference. So you could, I think, indefinitely just keep on using it that way. Now, if you want, you can always activate it within Windows, like once you have it all installed, and basically just pay the $100 or $200 you have the Pro edition later on. So it's really up to you. But like I said, you don't need to, as far as I know, you don't need to really activate it. You can just keep on using it like that. So that's how you can save yourself $100. Anyways, as you guys can see, building a computer in theory should be easy, but it's not always easy, simply because sometimes you just run into little problems where you don't know what's wrong. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to do this video, so I can show it to you guys. And so if there's any problems, you guys can kind of go through it with me. So like I said, in the end, I had to change the memory, and I had to get a replacement for the motherboard. But I got the computer working, and so far I'm really happy with this machine. So I've just installed Premiere on it, had a chance to sort of play around with it, and from my initial tests, it handles 4K beautifully, and even in DaVinci Resolve, because of the really good graphics card which uses GPU, it also handles color grading, but handles raw footage in there really nicely, way faster than anything I've had up until this point. So. So if you guys want information on all the parts that I got and where you can get them for the best prices, then as always, check in the description of this video or go to my website at tomantosfilms.com. Anyways, thank you guys, and good luck with building your own video editing machine. I'll see you next time.